Bless all the paths our feet walk to be free. Bless all the paths our feet walk to be free.
Symphony of nature. Daybreak dawns as I greet the sun. A symphony of nature, a new day begun. Foragers forage as songbirds will sing. Each of life's critters just doing their thing. I watched and I noticed an interesting fact. It seems within nature there's an unwritten pact. A symbiotic rhythm that keeps everything afloat. An innately known message when to come and to go. As snakes slither silkily amidst the grass and the roots, I have never seen an owl or an eagle pollute. I've never observed a hawk ruin its own home, or a buffalo build fences, unable to roam. I've never witnessed a deer build a cage in a tree, so it may drape on its wall some remnant of me. I've yet to be privy to watch a whale swim ashore and dump oil and garbage and plastic galore. I cannot remember in all of my time spotting a wolf or a cricket commit any of these crimes. Is it human nature to destroy and divide, whilst the rest of life's creatures run off to hide? Extinction of rhythm in the air and the seas is to right the extinction of you and of me. So wake up your sisters, your brothers asleep. This land called Earth Mother is ours for the keep. To preserve and give back, to replenish and reseed. As we nurture this land, it's ourselves that we feed. So be like the cricket, the tiger and snake. Take your place on this planet, make no mistake. Your conscious choice to clean up and give back, surrender and yield, or destroy and attack, instead of destroy and attack, truly can shift the demise in our sights, restore freshness to air and darkness to nights. Allow your eyes to realign those moments of dusk. Our bodies and senses readapt to our musk. Let weather and wind once again be our lead, and a firm balance with nature be the most critical of creeds. Wow. Breathe into these words, folks. You know, like our resident biologist said here, these are words that are dear to her heart because she chose to go after a whole career that dealt with the preservation of critters and of nature. And I entitled it A Symphony of Nature because when I first wrote this, it was simply, I set myself up with the fan, so I'm just going to move to this side. It's because I was sitting on my patio in the morning and heard nature. And it was a beautiful thing, and it always moves me. It always brings me present when I get up early enough to really hear the symphony in the morning. So, I'm 51 years old, and since I've been 11 years old, we have lost half the population of the critters in the world. 52%. According to the Worldwide Fund for Nature's Living Planet Index, a dramatic decline in animal species could cost the world billions of dollars in economic losses. This index showed a 52% decline in wildlife between 1970 and 2010. They didn't have all the science ready to do all these measurements, but now as the technology has gotten better, they're finding that when it comes to birds and freshwater wildlife, it's actually been 76%. At the rate that we're using and consuming right now, the Earth needs, the people need 1.5 planets. We need 1.5 Earths to sustain where we're at right now. So, let's get past the doom and gloom of that, because we did our talk at the very beginning of this year called Resolve. And I brought 5 different stories that showed how we are moving further and further along than we realized. That the media mostly wants to inundate us with negative news. That is negative news, but there's a positive thing going on in this world, and that's called you and I. We are the people that create this universe. We are the people that create our lives, and we have the ability to walk in the symphony of nature or to turn off the music and not listen anymore. Like Becky was talking about when we read at the beginning the tapestry of life and our purpose and that connectedness. And some of the talks that I've been doing recently with Ubuntu and Mitakuyasin, which you hear Scott and I say, and a lot of people say all the time, which means we are all related. That's what this talk is really about. But it's about being all related, not just with the human selves, but with our animal brothers and sisters and with our nature brothers and sisters. I had a very magical childhood. I walked into this world different than most people, and being able to see, hear, and feel different things than the other kids were telling me they were feeling and seeing. When I was about 4 years old, behind us in Long Island, New York, was woods. Now, I was too young to realize that there was a whole development getting built. And our block was done, and about 6 city blocks was done away, but in between was still all woods. So I would go back there as a young child, because this is in the early 60s, and you could let your kids just go, and it was fine, everybody was safe. Now I'd go back and I'd play with all my animal friends, and I know I had a magical world out there, and to me it was heaven. And I had a lot of majesty, a lot of magic, a lot of wonder happen to me all the time. And I know that I remember sitting in a place where I can actually visually remember feeling like I was in a Disney movie with animals all around me, and no fear was present with me at all. Even snakes and creepies and crawlies that would now freak me out. Well, actually I'm healing that, because I'm coming back to my little kid again with them. But for me, a lot of you know that my mom passed away when I was 4 years old. And they didn't really know how to explain it back then. I guess we were into protecting the emotions of children a lot. And instead of telling me that my mom died, they told me she went to heaven. So I went out in the back to look for her. And I looked and I looked and I looked. And I never found my mom, because I was too young to understand the metaphor. But I still had comfort, because in every day I searched for my mom, and there's that little boy that was truly missing his mom and looking for her in heaven. All the creatures of heaven still showed up for me. They played their symphony for me when I was a baby, and every day of my life. And it's only been me that is tuned out of the music at any given moment of my life. It's always there, it's always on. It's a 24-hour radio station. It's most angelic music. And it's the music of our lives. When I listen in the morning or at night to the different critters, because there's a whole world of critters that change from morning to night. If you've ever been in a rainforest or a jungle, you'll know that it sounds just as loud as a city street at night, and maybe louder. It's a very loud symphony. But they all have their own little song that they're singing. One of the things that whales teach us, in the Native American tradition, they're the keepers of the records, but they teach us how to sing. They teach us how to own our own song. We're one of the only species of animals, mammals, or not necessarily just mammals, that don't have their own call. All kinds of critters have calls. Sometimes we'll play games with each other and try to recognize the different critters that we're hearing. Hey, what was that? Sometimes, if you listen real closely, the coo of a raccoon at night and the call of an eagle will sound, the chirping will sound very similar. There's only nuances that are different, but if you hang out with them enough, you're gonna learn their languages, and you're gonna learn with what they're saying. Half the medicines that we use in this world today is because long ago, the indigenous people of those different lands watched the animals, and they watched what they did. They watched what they foraged for. They looked at them when they were sick, and then they watched what they ate. And then they went and got that stuff and harvested and made medicines out of it. We've learned that through snake, which is a very transformative type metaphysical or metaphoric medicine, that in the physics of it, the physical reality of it is that snake's venom actually creates medicine. So the same poison that it has, it will offer aids in the medical industry and is the antidote for its own poison. These are just a couple of nuances of being in tune with nature, being in tune with the walk. It's like our brother here, Tony, is on the Mars program. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, is my understanding we're trying to seed life on Mars?
Eventually.
Eventually. So if that's some of the hoopla I've just read, I know there's a lot more science going on there, but I know that eventually that's been a plan. Well, that would be a wonderful thing to do if it was just for the adventure of it, not because we're freaking out about if there's going to be enough room left on the planet for us and all the critters. It's like 40 years of time. That's most of us in this room have lived through 40 years of time, and to have the declination of half of the population of our animal friends, it's like, that's kind of freaking me out a little bit. And know that we can put love and light into this every single time we go out in nature, and remember that we're one with nature. That Wahomatakweasin and Ubuntu and all the different cultural words that mean the same thing of connectedness and oneness is what the goal is here. Now, because of who I am, and I'm always going to tell you that it's an inside job, I'm always going to lead you inside. And I'm going to say, can you have a symphony of nature within you? Do you go inside and wake up in the morning and get in touch with all the critters within you? I know I've told you that there's a lot of different selves and personalities, but if we want to say we are one with everything, then we're one with everything. Have you ever gotten in touch with your inner wolf? Have you ever had to be a mama bear and protect your kid? There's so many different aspects that our medicine brothers and sisters, our animal medicine brothers and sisters, will teach us if we just simply watch them, if we just simply hang out with them, if we're willing to talk with them. We see the metaphors and stories throughout life, like the tortoise and the hare. And we have all the different lessons of going too fast and of taking your time and pacing yourself. We also know that some of these lessons that animals teach will be daily lessons for us how to walk our walk. Turtle medicine teaches us to be grounded and to be connected with the Mother Earth, and to remember that it's from the earth that we came, and that there's a time for protection and a time to go into our shell, but there's also a time to just chill out and forage and dig and be part of the earth. It's one of the most grounding medicines there are. So if you're ever feeling scattered or discombobulated, think turtle and go out and put your feet in the sand. Go walk barefoot on the earth, or just go for a long walk and let some of that electrical energy that's going on in your own body ground out somewhat. There's also different higher end, if you want to say, higher spiritual animals that teach us different gifts, like hawk. Hawk is a messenger. Hawk is a messenger of light. Jesus Christ can be likened with hawk energy because he was a messenger of light. What he came down to do us is to bring illumination to the darkness within our souls and have us redeem that, turn back around, cash in that ticket of love, and know that we were a part of it all from the beginning. And that's one of the things that he came to teach us. But when we're communing with nature, we can talk with them more than we realize and actually have them assist us. So, 20 years ago, I'm going through TTP and I'm in recovery, so I'm now out of the hospital and all that. But I was out of work for a couple of years, so I had time on my hands. And I would like to go out into nature, into what I call a power place. And I believe people are familiar just with the term power place. It can show up as many different places. Sometimes for our musicians, their studio can be their power place. Sometimes it could be a favorite place as a kid. Sometimes it could just be someplace out in nature where you're all alone, all one. So I would go out there to be all alone, all one, and commute with my nature brothers and sisters. And where I would go is a place off of Nova Road here in Cocoa. If you go out on, where am I, 520, before you start getting into whatever the next county is called, I'm going blank here. Thank you. You make a left on Nova Road, it'll take you to McLeod, St. Cloud, Kissimmee area. And in between that whole area is nothing but woods and farms and cows and stuff like that. I would always go out there to be alone. And I had a motorcycle at the time, so it let me go into places I couldn't normally take my car, and sometimes I would take my car places that I couldn't go either, but I would do it. So there's one particular place I would enter in. I'd park my car and enter the woods, and there's a creek and there's a tree, and I always knew my way in. But the where this is set up, there's the fire lines, and there's two sections of woods, so I would cross this big area with the fire lines, which was like 10 football fields long, and then go to the other side of the woods and have my adventure in the woods all day. When I came back out, I was trying to find my spot where I originally left on the other side of the woods. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna need some help here. And a hawk flew out from the tree that led me right to my path, and shrilled and squeaked and did its talk. And I'm like, thank you, my brother. And I found my way to my spot, and I got my car and I went. Next time I went out there, I did my same adventure, spent there all day, came back out, I'm out in the big open field again, I'm trying to find my spot on the wood line, and the hawk comes out again. And it's right from the same tree. So I'm like, thank you, my brother. I'm all happy because I'm a big goof when it comes to animals, and I'm remembering this part of my life. And in the moments of TTP, my window was very wide open. I was very close to death, so I was very close to my innocence also. My intellectual crap of life wasn't really bugging me. I was really in tune. And that's all there was. There was no people out there for my ego to get involved with. I just enjoyed this moment. I was so happy that my hawk friend showed me the way again. So now I go out there a third time, and this time I bring a buddy. I'm like, hey man, I want to show you my power place. It's fun, and we'll walk around, and there's creeks and nature, and we had our walking sticks, and it was great. We were like just hiking around. We're coming out of the woods. He's like, oh man, where do we go? I'm like, don't worry, I have a friend. And sure enough, the hawk comes out in front of a witness now. Now I've got a witness to my story, that I just wasn't making it up in my head. And we walked, found our spot. It was a great day. We was all excited because he saw the hawk now too, and that just makes us more excited when two people get to see magic. And then, about a month later, I did it again by myself. But this time when I came out of the woods, I knew exactly where my spot was. Took 3 times, but finally. And guess what? No hawk. It did for me exactly what I needed to do, and it showed me the way when I didn't know where to go. And isn't that what Jesus did for us too? Kind of showed us the way when we didn't really know where to go, regardless of all the stories and the dogmas and the religions that have been made out of the man. But the message, he just showed us the way. Well, if we pay attention to our animals, brothers and sisters, they're going to show us the way on a lot of different things. They're going to show us how to commune with nature. They're going to show us how to heal our boo-boos. They're going to show us what to eat to live healthy lives. They're going to show us that it's okay every once in a while to just sit there and romp around. You ever seen a bear play? Now, not that I want to go up and pet it, because he might not want me to pet him. But I wish for the day that I was as innocent and clean from fear as I was when I was 4. Because then I would go up and pet the bear. Because I don't think anything would happen to me. I believe that my spirit would be so innocent and vibrating so much love that it would be okay. I trust in that. A lot of the times we talk about our Native American brothers and sisters, and I've said to you before, I'm not trying to become an Indian. I just embrace some of the ways that they've taught me. And when it comes to the language of the land, the Lakota people and the Native peoples speak the language of the land. There's some books out there that talk about all the things going on the earth, and the metaphysical things and the physical things. And there's a story about White Buffalo, and White Buffalo Calf Woman, who's a woman that in the Native tradition brought the ceremony of the prayer pipe and the Anipi sweat lodge to the people. But it was a prayer, it was a promise, it was a covenant. It was like the rainbow is in the Noah story to us, that there was going to be a day again when the land would return to the people, and that the abundance that buffalo represented, because remember from what we've learned just even in history, that the Native Americans used every single piece of the buffalo. It represented more than just sustenance for them. It represented a whole way of life and a concept of Ubuntu, of we are because I am because we are, and that we as a community are always going to take care of each other because this being provided us every single thing we needed. So White Buffalo was a promise to the people that the land would be returned back to the peoples that know how to take care of it. It's all of ours. It's something that we're heir to. But some of us in our walk on this planet have forgotten that we were the stewards of this land, that we were supposed to exercise husbandry, which means to take care of the land, and that this dominance over the creatures was some ego thing. That was not what it was written. That is not what was intended. What is intended is harmony. We talk about harmony all the time because we have all the musicians around us and we're in a choir, and a big part of what we do here is our music. And harmony is real important. And if you ever been in a choir practice with us, and the moment those harmonies come to life, the whole room fills up. Now, it's already filled up with giggles and laughter anyway, because we have a blast every time we're here. But it's the harmonies that when we're figuring out and trying to find our parts and our roles, and you might see some nuances that are off key here and there, and then all of a sudden well, if you ever walk out in nature in the morning, they don't need warmed up. They're just harmonious all the time. And it has only been, and I'm not dissing human beings, but it has only been us that has brought disharmony to the planet. It has only been through people that have wanted more than their share that have done that. It's like talking about a green planet and wanting to recycle and wanting to give back to the earth and wanting to use natural things that will keep the bugs away and let our fruit grow instead of poisoning everything and then ingesting it and then dealing with my own dis-ease within me. Harmony is going to happen all the way around, but it does have to start here. It's always got to start here. It's got to be an inner job. It's got to be an inside job, always. I just passed, in September, 2 years of not smoking. Yeah. And when I was a smoker, I polluted the air, and I have to admit that whether I want to admit it or not. Now, a long time ago, at 17 years old, I realized the littering part of it because I was just, a teenager that didn't want my ashtray full of my nice car. So I dumped it out in the parking lot, and then I looked at it, and it broke my heart. Because I didn't really litter. I knew better than that. But when I saw that one cigarette butt, out of sight, out of mind. It's so easy to flick a cigarette butt out the window. But when I saw the whole, it made me cry. It made me sad. It made me sad about me, because I remember that Indian commercial when I was a little kid. Who actually was an Italian, by the way. Just had to throw that in. But it's more of, hey, wait a minute, that's not who I am. My little kid knew better than that. I think somebody inside me must have been feeling guilty about destroying the temple with cigarettes, so he shifted his attitude and started destroying the temple of the earth too. And that's what it took to make me see that I was destroying something out there. It's taken me longer to look in the mirror and to see where I pollute inside me. I'm still cleaning up my environment. I'm going green as much as I can. But it's still got to be because my willingness and my wanting to be harmonious inside and to live in a symphony with nature. And to allow that to happen within me. The music within me is going to be just as sweet if I'm willing to listen to it. Because I am part of nature. I'm one of the musicians in nature. I have a song, I have a vibration, I have a frequency. We all do. What's your song? What are you singing? What animal noise are you going to make? I know that after 40 I started grunting when I bent over. I don't know what animal noise that was, but do you do it on purpose? Whales will also teach us how to wail. Different spelling of the word. When we look in some other cultures and we see them lamenting, and they really go for it, man. They really wail at the top of their lungs. They're singing out their grief. So we have a whale, an animal, smarter than us, teaching us how to let it go. They keep all the records of the earth and all the things that have ever happened in the history of this planet. And one of the things they're telling us is to sing out our song. Have you ever seen a dolphin in a bad mood? I've been watching different things online, and I watched a dolphin with a kitten the other day. I've seen dolphins with dogs. I've seen clips of dolphins with so many different kinds of species of animals, and they're always happy to meet them. Do you know that dolphins have one of the master languages of the planet? If you look at it in the folklore of the Native American and through other cultures, you'll find that dolphins are more magical than we ever have given them credit to. And biologists will say that they're very, 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 very intelligent beings, and their language is a lot more complex than ours. And we're just now tapping into the wonder of their language. Just these two beings alone, whale and dolphin, bring so much magic to this world. To ignore them is to cheat yourself out of the wonder of the universe, of the wonder of the planet, of the wonder of all the things that this earth has to offer us. Now to just stand there and look at our own community, in your own backyard, in your own... What if you just live in a regular neighborhood? You don't even have any trees. You have grass, don't you? Go out there and be with it. Go see what kind of animals show up. There's all kinds of waterfowl in Florida. Sometimes they'll come and just aerate your grass for you. You can put bird seed or regular, what do you call it? The seed that feeds your grass, and that's natural to them. Try not to put unnatural things out there to feed critters that are going to take them away from their normal environment and the normal things that they would eat. I'm so wanting to all the time, but certain things would disserve them. So I got to remember to be in harmony with nature and what's my footprint? What did I leave behind? Matter of fact, there's been a lot of camping sites where I've gone to and they said, take only memories and leave only footprints. And if we can do that in nature, they get choked up about so many different things, but I'm like, half the world's population half the animal population in 40 years? That does bother me. But I don't want to look at it from a place of doom and gloom. I want to look at it from a place of the same joy that we have for life itself. To be able to enjoy being with animals. Does anybody have pets and enjoy their pets? Those are giveaways that they have done to us. They've come down to be in a domesticated version of their original self. Because we know they evolved just to hang out with us and to try to bridge the gap between us and the rest of nature. Because when I can pet my dog or my cat or maybe an exotic bird, or even hold a snake, something that I can trust is going to be safe with me, it can connect me with the rest of my animal brothers and sisters. So if I can offer love to that animal that's here really just for me, and has a whole lifetime of giveaway just for me, they're also here to connect me to the rest of nature. So I remember how to pet the bear even though I can't pet the bear. And I remember to bring the gentleness of deer into my heart when I'm dealing with stuff in life. And I can look at all the different animals and all the different lessons that they have to offer and live this as a way, as a mantra, so that symphony can be heard inside and outside all the time, and that I'm adding to the music just by virtue of how I interact with nature. Not beating anybody else up. If I see them or out of harmony, I can have a wanting to go green and recycle every day, and if I see you not recycle and I beat you up about it, well then I missed that boat. Because then there's the ripple of, like, now I hurt their feelings. And maybe they won't want to recycle the next day because I made them mad. Whatever, I'm just going to throw the plastic in regular trash. No. It's all good. It's rippling. It's leading by actions more than your words. It's knowing that we can be saved. I told you the day about my little vision quest where I didn't believe in any magic anymore, and I sat at the river for 10 hours and had all these critters come up to me and visit me. And none of them did I believe were holding any magic at the time, because I was stuck in my head. And it took the animals. It took the animals because I was gone. I was too stuck in my head. It took the animals to finally get through to me that everything was going to be all right, and then I just had to take it a moment at a time. So this one is a forever. This is to spread the word to the youngest people and to teach them that we have already trashed it. We apologize. Now we have to do our best to clean it up. No more guilt. No more beating anybody up about it, because that's going to be counterproductive anyway. But to go inside, to look within you, to find the symphony of nature within yourself, the joy that you have for the music, and to spread the word. And when you're out there with life, to be part of it, to sing your song. Have you ever danced in nature by yourself? Cool. We're going to watch it next time. A lot of the people are here, and Margie's not here right now, but a lot of the metaphysical world, there's a thing called Sufi dancing. And it's grouse medicine, is what the grouse does. And when I went up to Illinois with the prairie states, I got to actually see grouse in their natural state, dancing like we did when we did Sufi dancing. I'm like, wow, we taught them how to dance. And it was neat because it was neat to watch the animal itself and remind me of the lesson about the sacred spiral of energy, and that this whole life is a dance, and to remember to keep spinning that energy up and up and up for me all the time. That's just one animal, and we just talked about a few of them today. There's a whole world of animals out there. There's books like the medicine cards from Jamie Sams. There's Animals Speak. There's all kinds of information on the internet. I invite you to pay attention to what animals show up in your life, and then go look it up. Ask someone who knows, ask someone who's got the book, go online and find out what the spiritual meaning, the spiritual lesson of that animal is. And then go and use your own wisdoms that you've noticed from watching certain animals. There's something that someone brought me about hummingbird that I didn't even know, because I know hummingbird is about joy. Well, do you know that when a hummingbird is beating its wings, its heart goes like 335 beats per minute, and when it's rest, it goes down to like 5, and I may not be exact on the science, but I didn't realize there's that dramatic. But its heart rate has to be that high to be able to flutter its wings that fast. And if it stopped and its heart rate stayed that fast, it would blow up. So within it is the ability to be at full throttle, and then knows how to just stop and rest. Do we do that? No, we don't know how to do that. We're either at full throttle until we blow a gasket, or we're at stop and rest until we become stagnant. That's one of the lessons of hummingbird. And again, there's just a couple animals. There's so many different species, and if you're attracted to a certain species, look it up. They're a gift. They're trying to tell you something. They're trying to give you a lesson about the wonder of you. Remember, you are an animal. So now Becky's going to sing a wonderful song of Talk with the Animals. Thank you. I'm going to talk without some.
Bless all